Hi everybody, my name is Hina Maujid. I shall be discussing about a historic air pollution incident known as the Killer Fog of 1930 that took place in Meuse Valley, Belgium. The objectives of this presentation are to describe the events that occurred during the Meuse Valley Killer Fog of 1930, analyze other air pollution episodes that took place in the region, and determine the cause and outcome of the fog incident of 1930. This is the table of content listing the figures and tables that I shall be sharing with you during this presentation. Belgium Meuse River Valley has long been an inviting tourist destination. The valley is a region along the Meuse River that flows between Lee and Hoy, Belgium. Meuse River meanders through northern France before taking an L-shaped path through Belgium, where it leisurely passes through historic towns, striking abbeys, chateaux nestled among its extremely impressive scenery. From Belgium, it crosses into Holland, where its name changes into Maas River. Between December 1st, 1930 to December 6, 1930, this scenic valley was occupied by a creeping horror. A wet, impenetrable, and extremely toxic fog centered at the town of Anguilles. Meuse Valley residents were thrown into terrified confusion by this lifeless, mysterious, and deadly miasma that reduced visibility to about 3 meters. Residents went back into World War era survival mode, locking themselves into their homes and not venturing out without covering their faces. As you can see, they are wearing these gas masks. This figure shows the Meuse River Valley map. In blue, you can see the Meuse River flowing from Lee to Hue, and it is surrounded by a 20 kilometers stretched valley that housed densely populated area and housed many industrial complexes. The map also marks the area that witnessed a lot of deaths. 27 factories were established here and included zinc smelters, glass and steel manufacturers, and explosive plants. Starting from the afternoon of December 1st, 1930 onwards, residents of Meuse Valley exhibited respiratory symptoms. Symptoms were classified into mild, moderate, and severe categories. 40% of the victims experienced mild category symptoms, and these included laryngeal irritation and cough. 34% experienced moderate symptoms, which were retrosternal pain, frothy sputum, and coughing fits. 25% experienced severe symptoms, which included asthma-like symptoms and pulmonary emphysema. Nausea and vomiting were experienced by most of the victims, and this pointed towards some poisoning. 1%, which were 64 deaths, were reported in the region by till December 5th, 1930. Livestock, mainly cattle, were also affected by this fog of 1930. This pie chart shows the demographic of the victims of the Meuse Valley fog of 1930. 56.2% victims were male and their ages were about 56 years. 43.8% victims were females and their ages were about 70 years. The demographic showed that elderly aged male and females were mostly affected by this deadly fog. Now we shall discuss about some previous air pollution events that happened in this region. Looking back, in January 1897, a sudden outbreak of asthma-like illness affected animals and humans in the town of Hue. A dense fog was settled there for 3 days. In 1902, there was an epidemic called fog asthma. It was so severe that Belgian government ordered an investigation, but no reasons were found. Postmortem examination of the cattle that died in the fog showed advanced pulmonary emphysema. In January 1911, a toxic fog also drifted to the same valley, taking several human lives and causing casualties among the cattle, leading to loss of economy. Investigation by Belgian meteorologist named Felix Bertrand concluded the deaths were most likely attributable to some substance of local origin that was contained within the fog. As a result, public inquiry was launched and the result was presented to the Royal Academy of Medicine, Belgium. Medical data was obtained by interviewing those who had experienced the respiratory symptoms from local physicians and from the family members of the deceased. 15 autopsies were conducted. Local and superficial irritation of the mucous membrane was found on the autopsies, but all toxicological tests were negative. To find out the cause of the deadly fog, analysis of emissions from the factories along the Meuse River was done. Analysis of the emissions from the factories along the Meuse River showed concentration of carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrous gases, hydrofluoric acid, and sulfur dioxide. Based on the emission analysis, it was concluded the largest concentration of air pollutant in the valley was sulfur dioxide, and this was primarily due to the domestic burning of coal. Further analysis indicated that sulfur dioxide concentration within the Meuse Valley reached to about 100 milligram per meter cube during this killer fog incident of 1930. So this bar chart shows the sulfur dioxide levels during the air pollution episode of 1930, and you can see that the sulfur dioxide level reached up to 100 milligram per meter cube. While the second bar graph shows the sulfur dioxide threshold level for toxicity, which is about 25 milligram per meter cube. The second cause for the killer fog was temperature inversion. Weather condition known as temperature inversion, which causes the hot air to rise but stays above as a cap. The air pollutants like sulfur dioxide, when captured in this cap, are converted into sulfuric acid by the moisture present in the air. The sulfuric acid was mainly responsible for the asthma-like symptoms. Therefore, it was determined that the event was not just due to the excessive sulfur dioxide emissions from the factories, but it was also due to a combination of the meteorological conditions. As a result, a commission was appointed to assess the current industrial air pollution levels and to form a legislation. It was recommended that Belgium will monitor its air pollution similar to the levels of Great Britain. Following Meuse Valley fog of 1930, no air pollution event of similar magnitude has occurred in the valley. And since then, following the guidelines, the level of sulfur dioxide remained low in the valley. And this table shows the levels of sulfur dioxide from 2010 to 2019, and these have been going down. So today, Meuse River Valley is a beautiful scenic place and a tourist resort. In a summary, the Meuse Valley fog of 1930 was an eye-opener and was one of the first major events that showed a link between air pollution and mortality. Sulfur dioxide emission combined with meteorological condition was a tale of caution. WHO now considers air pollution as the largest avoidable cause of mortality. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.